No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen. It is that time again, everybody. Welcome to the Triple P, the Perfect Parlay Pursuit. I am your host, Lukey CK, joined as always by my brother, the Euro Under King, Alex, and Danny, the Betman. We just got back from Morocco by way of Egypt, and before that, we went all the way to North Carolina by way of South Jersey. That's right, we had Farah Hanoun from UFC Arabia on. Go watch that interview. It's an amazing interview, how she got her start, everything from interviewing Khabib to Conor to Khamzat Chimaev. She is the best. That's thanks to Alex. He booked her. We're keeping the guests rolling, baby. That's 5 in a row. How you guys doing?
Couldn't be better on Cloud 9. Have a very exciting card this weekend or next weekend with a lot of fights on it. I can't wait to get these early predictions in. How about you, Danny?
Yeah, we're getting the early jump on this one. This will definitely greatly benefit all of us getting that early jump. Maybe some good lines on this one that will eventually become crappier lines. So we're going to jump on that early. I did my homework. I know the Euro Under King did his homework. The question is, Lukey, did you do your homework on this card?
I'm operating off instinct today. I don't got a 5-star criteria breakdown for you, but I will by next week when we're about 5 days out from the fight. When we really know which one of these 14 fights are actually going to make it to the card, then I'll be able to have my 5-star criteria. We'll take a look at height and reaches and everything like that while we're doing our episode today. But these are going to be the gut picks, the instinctual picks, the first looks. We got time. We're just going to give you a little bit of an early look. You guys can act accordingly. So without further ado, we'll blaze through this one, guys. We're not going to, go on, be long-winded this time. We got 14 to break down. Like I said, don't know how many are going to end up there. But off the jump street, we got Abdulrazak Al-Hassan coming back against Antonio Bragagnito. Now, Mr. Braga is 128 middleweight worldwide, coming up against the top 187th ranked Abdulrazak Al-Hassan. How you guys see this one playing out, Dan? First fight of the night.
Yeah, so this is one where, to me, it's either going to be one of two circumstances. Either Abdulrazak Al-Hassan is going to throw big bombs that are going to connect and put Antonio Bragagnito. We got two guys with 3 names here, tough mouthful here, but either he's going to get knocked out or he's going to time up one of these big bombs that misses, enabling him to capitalize on the takedown and get control with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't think that his wrestling to get it to the mat is all that superior. I think for Razak Al-Hassan, even though he's the smaller guy, he's going to be the stronger guy, more athletic guy. So if he fights a smart game plan and utilizes the jab instead of, throwing these wild hooks all the time that can get him exposed to the takedown, I think Razak Al-Hassan, there we go. That's the last name. I think he should get the W, but not one I really want to put my money on, but that will be the official pick in this circumstance.
Man, this is a tough one to call. Neither of these guys have really shown all that much in their last couple bouts. Neto last fight was in 2017. He hasn't fought since 2017, and it was against Trevin Giles. You guys know how we feel about him. I'm going to take Abdulrazak Al-Hassan just because he has the consistency, and he's been fighting a lot more recently and a lot more often.
If I could give the conspiracy angle for Luke to help him out on this one, I think my conspiracy is that the UFC likes Al-Hassan. He throws huge bombs all the time. He's a very entertaining fighter. So I think they're serving him up a fight that he could win coming off of a 3-fight losing streak. I don't know if that sways you, Luke. What do you think?
I mean, he's 36, but his opponent's 33, and the opponent's going to have a sizable height and reach advantage. At middleweight, though, you wonder if that makes much of a difference because, to me, middleweight, if you're that's right when the size matters a little bit less, right? Like it's right when the smaller guy can almost have a little bit of an advantage. The lighter guy, the guy moving around, especially if he's a striker, right? Cardio-wise, too. I think the guy who carries himself a little lighter, we saw that with Cyril Gane versus Derek Lewis. We've seen it with Stipe when he fought DC. And I think you kind of see it in a lot of ways in the middleweight division too. Now, this one's tough for me. It's going to be a no bet from me, but there's 14 fights in the card. I'm going to leave this one out. You guys know I'm not good at picking the first one of the card, so you got to wait till next week for my official prediction. But I don't have much trust in Abdulrazak Al-Hassan, especially being 36, coming off a knockout, coming off 3 losses. But he is coming out of Fortis MMA. that is a good gym. And if this fight's in Las Vegas, he's going to have the home field advantage probably there.
And the guys he lost to but the guys he got knocked out against were Chaos Williams, and then he lost a close decision to Munier Lizez. So
I guess Abdul is going to have to be the pick. This other guy does look big for middleweight, man. I mean, I'm looking at his Tapology picture. I'm scrolling down. He's a big guy. But he's losing, he hasn't fought, since 2017. So I think the clear pick is Abdul Razak Al-Hassan. But he's done some grappling bouts, and we've seen, Misha Tate comes to mind. Who else? TJ Dillashaw. A lot of guys coming back and getting wins off of long layoffs. So especially if he's been competing, Pan Jiu-Jitsu IBJJF Championship, ADDC World Championships, Bushesha, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like he's getting some competition in the meantime. And they had him in here against Duran Win. So, your serve-up job idea makes sense if they were trying to serve him up to Duran Win, because we know Duran Win is somebody who's got those backdoor relationships, being DC's buddy and everything like that. So, yeah, the conspiracy angle makes sense, but I guess I got to stick with Abdul, but not one I'm pretty confident in betting. I'm never going to pick in the first fight of the night.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, next we got Courtney Casey. Alex, I'll let you take this one. She's taking on a Georgian in Ilyana Jojua. And guys, Farah Hanoun gave us a ton of unknown Georgian and can't talk today. Arabian fighters that she knows about. She gave us one big 6-0 fighter coming off back-to-back knockout losses that is going to be fighting on the Contender Series. So if we want to get on these young up-and-coming fighters, she's given us a couple hot tips. So make sure you go back and watch that episode. There was a Georgian in there, and Liliana Jojua, she's a Georgian too, but she was one of the Georgians to fall during the pandemic era. We had an undefeated Georgian man's streak during the pandemic era for a while, and then she broke that one, got a loss. What do you guys think, Alex? Casey versus Liana.
Alex, let me set Alex up for this one, all right? I'm going to let Alex have his take here. This is between Alex's first love, Courtney Casey, his favorite female fighter, versus the country that he most loves outside of the United States. That's right. All you crazy Georgians out there. I almost said Jordanians. Georgians out there, you love Alex. Alex loves you. So, Alex, which love are you going to pick in this fight?
Well, Dan, this also has something to do with another love of mine, and that is disparaging women based on their age, specifically. And Courtney Casey, although she is the Crimson Chin, quadruple C, Courtney Casey, I love her. I love her. If she is going to win, it's going to be armbar from guard, or it's going to go to split decision. More than likely going to go to split decision. And I think Liana Jojua is going to win because she is two of my main staples on this show, where Courtney Casey is just Courtney Casey. She is my favorite fighter. She's been on a bit of a slump, but she is older by, 8 years? 34 years old? 8 years, and we always go with Georgians. And she looked good against Miranda Maverick before that was stopped by cut.
Interesting, guys. Interesting, because something's telling me Casey might have this one. She's got the height, she's got the reach, she's got the experience, and is she over the hill? I don't think she's like an old lady by any means. I know we like to, it's a big gap, and definitely Jojua is going to fall into that 63 or higher % win rate, taking on a fighter so much older than her. 8 years. We know that if there's a 5-year age gap, you have 63% chance of winning, and that only kind of goes up from there. So I think that Miranda Maverick, it looked really good in that fight against Macy Barber. She lost a split decision, but she was able to beat Jojua by a doctor stoppage cut. So that doesn't tell me, there was more fight left to be had. That was only the first round that got completed there. But I remember being a little disappointed. She got beat up by Miranda Maverick there, and we had Jojua.
Yo, are you ever gonna change the camera?
Oh, who is it on? Who is it on?
Me.
Oh, sorry.
It's been sitting on me for the last 5 minutes.
Now I'm exposed. Now it's exposed. Now it's exposed that I was just scrolling through Tapology. So yeah, I'm picking Courtney Casey in this one. I'm taking Courtney Casey. I won't be fooled again with Jojua.
Luke, I am siding with you on this one as well. I am picking Courtney Casey.
Wow.
100%. Listen, she only has 38% takedown defense, which is not going to bode well against a grappler like Jojua. But to be honest, I don't see Jojua's wrestling to be all that impressive against someone like Courtney Casey, who's going to be the bigger woman. She's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage. I think she's way more athletic. And she lands 2 full strikes more per minute. So in women's MMA, I think it goes very, very far if you're the bigger, more athletic fighter in there, which I definitely think CC is going to be in this one. So, Alex, for me, it's going to be your true love, Courtney Casey, picking up this W.
Hey, I hope so. And because somebody's got to win a fight in that family. Jakar Close, he's not doing anything. He's losing fights before they even happen.
When is she going to be called Courtney Close? Isn't her name Courtney Casey Sanchez now? Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Are you talking about Jojua with Jakar Close?
No, Courtney Casey is Jakar Close's girlfriend. Yeah. She was there when he got pushed by your boy Jeremy Stevens. That you were so proud of Jeremy for pushing him, for assaulting him.
I'm so proud. Proud as a father. No, Courtney Casey, I think her last name is Sanchez now. I saw on DraftKings. Let me check that out. Hold on.
No, dude,
that's crazy.
Anyway,
that's Josh Fabian's new last name, Sanchez.
No. Listen, go on DraftKings right now. Courtney Casey Sanchez. I'm looking at it right now. So, she's married to some guy named Sanchez. She's dating Jakar Close. What's going on, Alex?
Maybe she just needed to get somebody's citizenship. Maybe it was a good friend from Cabo San Lucas or something like that. She wanted to get him in the country.
Casey Sanchez. You're thinking of another girl, I think.
No,
that must be somebody on.
It's on DraftKings, bro. I'm reading.
Oh, is DraftKings the single source of truth now, or is Tapology the single source?
Listen, I'm just saying it didn't come out of nowhere. All right, that's all I'm saying.
All right, yeah. Now she has a hyphen. Yeah, she does have a hyphen on awakeningfighters.com. I've never heard of this website in my life.
Interesting. All right, well, it's not going to be Triple P certified. No, I guess Abdul Razak Al-Hassan is technically Triple P certified so far. And let's move along. Roosevelt Roberts coming off an embarrassing guillotine loss to that guy that stepped in out of Krause's camp. His name was Kevin Kroom. It ended up being a no contest due to some weed smoking, I believe. But he's taking on Ignacio Bahamondes. And the thing is, before the Kevin Kroom fight, he got armbarred by Jim Miller first round too. So, and then his only other win in the UFC that even stands out is a guy named Brock Weaver, who, all respect to him, entertaining guy. Not the biggest skill guy. Other than that, I don't recognize any of these names really that of people he's fought. I mean, Darryl Horcher, that was 2018. Who is Roosevelt Roberts really got it done against? I mean, the ring IQ is not there. He's I don't have any faith in him coming against Bahamondes. I think Bahamondes looked great against McDessie, even though it was a split decision. McDessie's a wily vet. This guy doesn't have the ring IQ that McDessie has. And he's coming off the Contender Series, but I don't know. I'm looking to fade Roosevelt Roberts here. I don't know what the odds are, but something I just don't have confidence in a guy that got armbarred by Jim Miller. I mean, we saw what Joe Solecki, we saw what he did to Jim Miller.
I got it in your head.
God, you inceptioned it in my head. Or I think I did, having to isolate that clip so many times and edit it so many times and listen to it so many times. I now it's like I'm Pavlovianly trained.
Joe Solecki.
Pittman, stop doing that. Stop pressing that button, Dan. All right. So I'm going to go with Bahamondes.
The odds, if this sways you at all, odds are Roosevelt Roberts minus 140, Ignacio Bahamondes plus 120. Alex, what do you got?
That sways me even more. I'm taking Ignacio Bahamondes. And you know why?
Why?
Because he beat up that scumbag, Chris Brown, who allegedly did some naughty things. I'm not going to get into it, but I love anybody who puts his hands on a guy like Chris Brown. Yeah, he's gonna win. He took McDessie to a split decision, and the front kick on the Contender Series was beautiful. Let's get it done in this one with a dog pick.
All right, this next one I want to take point on because we got Jesse Schroeder.
Hold on.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. I'll make it quick because I can tell Luke Zancy to get to the next one. I'm going to take Ignacio on this one. Love the plus 120 value. Roosevelt Roberts, as Luke brought up, his last two losses could be really attributed to silly mistakes, both against Kevin Kroom and Jim Miller. Putting his neck out in pretty rough circumstances and not showing the best octagon IQ. So Ignacio, this kid's 23, 24 years old. Again, he's going to have these big jumps. That's what these young guys who are really dedicated do. So his last fight against John McDessie, he didn't get the win, but it was a fight of the night performance. He has a wide variety of strikes, throws with a lot of volume. He's going to be longer than Roosevelt Roberts, which is one of the attributes of strength that he takes into his fights as being the rangier guy. Not going to be the case in this fight. So I think for plus 120, I'll take the young up-and-comer Ignacio Bahamondes.
Lovely. Let me clear you out of this stand so you guys don't yell at me. Hold on. Guys, the next fighter, Jesse Schroeder. We're going to be certified by Mondays then. That's good. Jesse Schroeder, he's the boxing coach of a one Aaron Carter. Now, we saw how Aaron Carter went down so hard against Lamar Odom. And Lamar Odom's, untrained. I mean, I could beat Lamar Odom in boxing. So without even training with Jesse Schroeder. So I don't know why he had such a hard time getting Aaron prepared for that fight. Was Aaron not a good pupil? Was Aaron smoking too many cigarettes? Was Aaron now I watch Aaron Carter's Instagram live streams sometimes with my girlfriend, and I will say that he didn't necessarily seem dedicated to Jesse's program. But that being said, I don't know. It just seems like Jesse's a little bit distracted. 30 years old, 5-2, not impressive at all. His opponent's much younger and has a much better record. So I'm going with this new guy, Mana Martinez, coming out of Fury FC. That was looking for a fight, Fury FC. I wonder if that had anything to do with Dana White's looking for a fight, because I know they sometimes, like she was saying, Nunes was saying, partnering up and everything. He's got a loss to Draco Rodriguez on the Contender Series, but that's pretty much his only blemish since 2017, split decision. I'm going to go with Mana Boy. I think he goes out there and starches Jesse Schroeder. Gets it done with the finish. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Mana Boy as well. Luke, an interesting guy Mana Boy beat is Ricky Turquoise from The Ultimate Fighter.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 years ago. The real cool guy. Cool guy. He's already in finals. But he lost to Draco Rodriguez, which gives me a little cause to pause because Draco has not looked good whatsoever. I'm gonna go with Mana Martinez here for sure, based on the Aaron Carter information that I just found
out. So we're going into this one with Mana Martinez minus 190, Jesse Schroeder plus 160. Did a little bit of film study on this one. Jesse Schroeder, very powerful dude. He's kind of got that like short, explosive wrestling boxing style, almost like a Chad Mendes. It's got a lot of power in that right hand. There's a lot of looping hooks and strikes in that manner. Whereas Mana Martinez, he's way more technical, throws it down the pipe, works the legs, training partner of Adrian Yanez. And look, he had one loss earlier in his career against a guy who's now in the UFC, in Draco Rodriguez. So I think that as long as Martinez can keep Schroeder at bay with the wrestling, which I do think he will be able to do. Again, he has very explosive striking, and it's right down the pipe, so it's perfect for keeping, good wrestlers at bay there. I'm going to take Mana Martinez. It's minus 190, so it's not the best value, but this guy's really fun to watch. And again, training partner of Adrian Yanez, the future of the bantamweight division. Looking forward to this fight.
Sick. So we'll Triple P certify another one. That's an easy one. I mean, except for a wild, Schroeder catch, I see Martinez walking to victory, especially with that caliber of training partner. He's ranked number 2 U.S. Southwest, whereas Jesse Schroeder has not cracked the top 180 worldwide bantamweight. Training with a guy like Yanez, Schroeder's going to feel like a walk in the park. Bia Malecki taking on Josiana Nunes. You'll remember Josiana Nunes was supposed to get in there in a recent card against one. Wait a minute. Hold on. Who was originally? It's not listed on here on Tapology, but I know that she was originally scheduled to fight. I think it was. I don't know. We'll circle back on that. But anyway, Josiana Nunes, Josie, 27-year-old Strikers House trained Brazilian striker, taking on this newcomer out of, I think she's out of Stockholm, Sweden, Fortis MMA affiliation. So that tells me that she's got some training with those guys probably at All Stars Gym too before she made it over to Fortis. And she's 2-0. Her name's Bad News Barbie, not to be confused with Bad Barbie, but she's bad herself. The cutie from Sweden is going to be my pick, even though she's only 2-0. She lost on the Ultimate Fighter. That's okay. Got that experience, got that free loss. Was originally with Tracy Cortez. Was originally with Norma Dumont. 2 better opponents than Josiane Nunes, I believe. So give me the blonde fighter, Bad News Barbie.
Alex, no hot takes on this one? All right, I'll give you a little extra information here. So Bea Malecki, she's coming in 7 inches taller. As Luke said, only 2 pro fights. Luke, she's actually an avid rock climber. Have either of you two climbed the rocks as of late?
Not lately, but back when I spent some time in the old Colorado, and that's how it's pronounced, Colorado. you Colorado guys really bug me. But yeah, back in the day, I climbed a rock or two.
Yeah, Luke?
It's actually pronounced Colorado. But yeah, I went hiking a state park this very weekend.
No, not hiking, rock climbing. It's much
There were
different.
rocks. There were rocks.
All right. Were you climbing on them?
Listen, I can climb rocks without a harness. I'm like Alex Honnold.
Fantastic. Getting into the fight here, Jojua Nunes. She's gonna be way shorter. Again, a 7-inch height differential here, but she finished her last 4 fights by knockout or TKO. She has this crazy Muay Thai blitzing style where she just runs in like a maniac. I don't know if Malecki really has the firepower to keep her at bay. Again, she's going to have these long 1-2s coming her way, but they don't really seem too explosive to me. She seems to get tired pretty early on in those 2 fights that we've seen in the UFC. And Jojua Nunes, her only loss is to Talia Santos, who we know is a beast in that division, 17-1. So this is going to be a tough one to call. It seems like the intangibles are on the side of Bea, but just more of the explosiveness, ability to finish a fight is on Jojua Nunes. So this one's a tough one for me. Does anyone have the odds on this one? That would definitely sway me as far as the value pick. We're looking at Bea Malecki coming at -140 and Nunes at +120. I think the value is on Nunes, so that's who I'm going to pick for this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the outlaw Josie Nunes here. As Bittman said, her only loss is Talia Santos, and I had her in that fight against Zaraf. What's that? The French woman, right? Is Zaraf Farn? I don't know, dude. I don't like French, but anyway, she's fought some women who are kind of similar in height. Like she's given up like a 4-inch, 5-inch height differential in some of her fights. So I'm not really too worried about that. This woman doesn't really have that much experience. So and she, one of the only women she's beaten was a girl named Duda. You know, like I've never heard of that woman. Duda, more like Duty.
Oh boy.
Hot. Oh, getting 3rd grade with the insults here. I like it.
Keep it as PC as possible. So we all have our picks in on this one?
Yes, sir. And it will not
Alrighty.
be a triple P certification on either side of it.
Gotcha. So we are going to move on to the welterweight division. We have Ramiz Brahimaj. Hopefully his ear is recovered from that explosion that went down against Max Griffin in his last fight. He's going to be taking on Sasha Politnikov. Now this one is going to be a classic striker versus grappler matchup. Ramiz, coming out of Fortis MMA, has some powerful BJJ when he could get it to the mat. But Sasha Politnikov, he struggles with the grappling for sure. He did defend like 7 or 8 takedowns from Luis Cochet, but that's after he just battered him. And previous to that, he was taking a beating himself. So this guy is really tough. He's a counter striker. If he can keep it on the feet, it's going to be a win for him. But, Ramiz, again, he's got powerful takedowns and jiu-jitsu when it gets down to the mat. So I'm going to have to go with Ramiz. I think he probably learned a lot from that last fight. They were throwing Max Griffin at him in his first UFC fight. I think that shows that they're pretty high on this guy. So give me the Fortis MMA trained Ramiz Brahimaj.
Yeah, it'll be 2 in a row for me as far as Fortis goes. I'm going to take Ramiz, but it's not that I don't like Sasha. I just see that hole in his grappling game. And I mean, if Impa Kasagane can take you down a rear naked choke you 26 seconds into round 2,
Right.
Recently too, it's not going to go well with Ramiz. I think he's a lot better than Impa. So give me Ramiz by submission. Pretty confident about that one, Alex.
I would love to take Ramiz because, as many people from the Philadelphia area, I hate Ben Simmons now. So he beat up Ed Simons. That's close enough for me. I don't know. Sasha's only lost to some really good fighters like Munir Laziz, Impa Kasagane, and he beat up the other Koshi brother, which makes me happy because he gave up that last fight for me and ruined all my parlays. So I'm really conflicted on this one emotionally. I think Sasha's just fought the higher level of opponent, so I'm going to go with him.
Yeah, watch that fight on UFC Fight Pass if you haven't. The fight with Cochet. Amazing fight. Went back and forth, and it gives you a good good look into what Plotnikov brings to the table. Also, I forgot to bring up, he's got a great clinch, great Muay Thai clinch, throws a lot of knees and elbows from there. So, if it gets to that position, it might be a little difficult for Rumbly.
Sorry, I got to get my laptop charger.
You're good.
No
we
problem.
will move on to our next fight here.
Should we wait for him?
No, he'll be right back.
Right.
We got Clay Guida versus Luis Saldana coming in.
No, we don't. We have Clay Guida versus Marco Madsen.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're totally right.
I knew we should have waited for him, dude. I knew we should have waited.
No. But like the Ultra King said, we do have Clay Guida versus Mark O. Madsen, the silver medalist in the Olympic Games. Very fitting for the time period that we are in with the Olympics and wrestling wrapping up here. So Madsen comes in with a perfect 10-0 record, 2-0 in the UFC. What I don't like, though, is that I haven't seen him in a very chaotic situation, right? We haven't gleaned any of that out of this guy as a pro MMA fighter. And that's exactly what Clay Guida is going to bring. He's going to bring the chaos. He's going to be in your face the whole time. I don't care that he's almost 37 years old. This guy, he still seemed like he has gas in the tank. At the end of the day, though, I do feel like because of the fact that Guida's always moving forward, he's going to fall right into Marco Madsen's, his game plan and the style that he brings to these matchups. So, they're going to collide, and Madsen's going to be able to take him down from there, I feel like, as the Greco-Roman silver medalist. So give me Marco Madsen in this one, and as Alex breaks this one down, I'll find what the odds are for this one.
Perfect. Yeah, this is an interesting fight. These are two old men, 39 versus 36. I tend to lean toward Bittman's breakdown where Marco Madsen gets it done. I think his wrestling is going to be a little bit better. It's rare that I go with a guy who has 46 less fights than his opponent, but they're not even that far away in age. My problem is just that Clay Guida hasn't really beat a notable name in 3 or 4 years, like 5 years, 6 years. I'm still scrolling to try and find one that I respect. Maybe Takanori Gomi in 2011, Anthony Pettis in 2011, Rafael Dos Anjos in 2010. I mean, those are the biggest names he's beaten for sure. Anybody else, like, are we going to give him credit for beating up BJ Penn in 2019? I don't think so. Are we going to give him credit for beating up Michael Johnson, a guy who has a 50-50 record? He looks like he's fighting in women's. Not by his fight style, just his record alone. Michael Johnson stinks, dude. So I'm going Marco Madsen. Yeah,
I don't agree with that. I want to just say, if Michael Johnson's listening, I don't agree with that. I've seen some hardcore training footage of Michael Johnson. I think he's just one of those guys who left his best days of his career in the gym because he can fucking scrap. I've seen him scrapping with Usman. I've seen him scrapping with, like, Gaethje. He scraps with everybody, dude. Michael Johnson's a terror. He's a menace, dude. That's a menace. Don't talk about the menace like that.
I used to love Michael Johnson. I used to be one of his biggest fans, but I put him in too high of a category. He beat up guys like Edson Barbosa and Dustin Poirier and Tony Ferguson, but then loses to just Darren Elkins. But
Darren Elkins just, he just showed us what he could do in his last fight too. I mean, Darren the Damage Elkins is, again, not somebody that to be disrespected. Michael Johnson fades in the fights where he ends up taking a lot of damage, I think. You know what I mean? Like, Michael Johnson succeeds, I think, in the fights where he gets ahead early. But then again, he lost to Moises, and he was ahead early on that one too, so I don't know.
He also gives up a lot of takedowns, which is odd because he does have a wrestling background. And
I think that gasses him a little bit later in the rounds.
Yeah.
And I think
as far as
in the fights that he starts off good in, like, he started off well against Khabib, he started off good against Nate Diaz, he started off good against all these guys, and he probably won the first round in some of them. Maybe not against Khabib, but he had a chance, and then he just blows it away. I don't know. It's tough to watch as a fan.
Yeah. All right. Well, for me, it's going to be Marco Madsen. I just think, what would what would Austin Hubbard do to Clay Guida right now? Ask yourself that.
Oh, yeah.
And Alex, it's funny because when I went back to isolate the Bittman making fun of Joe Selecki, when I isolated that clip, you were talking about Marco Madsen in that episode, and you were really low on his wrestling. You were like, who is Marco Madsen? He's not even a good wrestler. Like, you were like saying that. And
Me?
now you're no, Alex.
Oh,
was.
okay.
Because you were
Well,
saying
against Clay Guida, Marco Madsen was supposed to fight somebody else before that.
Well, you were talking about it in reference to Bittman was saying if Marco Madsen could take down, or if Austin Hubbard could defend a takedown from Marco Madsen, he'll be able to defend a takedown from Joe Solecki. And you were saying that, Denmark, who cares about Denmark wrestling? I think something like that. But
good logic.
I stand by it. I just think he's better than Clay Guida.
yeah, there are some better wrestlers in South Jersey that never made it out of high school that could probably pin Marco Madsen. But that being said, he is an Olympian from Denmark, training out a fight ready. We'll give it to him. I think Marco Madsen gets the victory here. He's just gonna be, I think, the fresher guy in there. We don't know what Clay Guida is walking into every fight with at this point. You know what I mean? He's not gonna tell us. So it's like you got to think Clay Guida's got some rusty parts and needs a little bit of oil. Dan, did you pick for this one?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, and he wrestles Greco.
Well,
Yeah.
that's better for MMA, isn't it? In terms of getting body lock, getting Clay
Yeah.
to the ground. I mean, but yeah, listen, it's gonna be a much harder fight than Marco Madsen believes it's gonna be going in, I think, and that could spell danger for him if Clay surprises him and keeps him in there all night long. But Clay's approaching 40 years old. If anybody can do it, it's Clay. I don't listen. I'm not saying Clay should be out the door. I hope he gets 60 fights. I would love to see. That's a nice round number. 4 more fights out of Clay Guida if he wants them. Give them to him, and then send him into bare knuckle or something like that. Clay Guida is one of those guys who's gonna want to fight for his whole life, I think. But anyway. Will Triple P certify Marco Madsen, or Alex, you're taking Clay?
I'm taking Marco Madsen.
All right, so it's a Triple P certification for Marco Madsen.
Yeah. Minus 160, you can get him at.
Love it. All right, guys, so moving right along, we got Luis Saldana. Luis Saldana taking on Austin Lingo. Now, number 90 featherweight worldwide versus number 77, 30-year-old Luis Saldana, also had a fight ready. 5-fight win streak, beat Jordan native Psycho Griffin. And then before that was on the Contender Series. Only losses, he's got a handful of losses if you scroll through the topology, but Austin Lingo, also 27, 3 years younger, Fortis MMA, great gym, only one loss, and that's Yusuf Salah. Not as much of a sample size as far as fights goes, but, you take a look at him and you say, hey, he's got a win in the UFC after the rebound from Zalal against Jacob Kilburn. It's going to be a close fight. What do you guys think about this one? I'm not ready to give my pick yet. I mean,
I think the sign. I got the Moroccan spirit in me. His only loss is to Yusuf Salah. I'm taking Austin Lingo. Lights out, baby.
Love it. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to lean to. Yusuf Salah is one of my favorite new guys entering the UFC. If that's your only loss, no shame there. Saldana, you got a handful of losses. I can't speak to some of those guys that beat you. So unless you turned it all the way around, I think Austin Lingo kind of comes in here and surprises some people. What's the odds, Dan?
Not sure about the odds on this one, but for me, I think it's a very close fight. Luis Saldana coming off 5 straight wins. If you look at his fights, man, he switches stances. He throws a wide plethora of different strikes. The key to this fight is he needs to operate in space, whereas Austin Lingo, he's a bit of a grinder. He wants to dirty box you, get to the inside. So in his loss to Yusuf Zalal, we know his style. He wants to be all over the place. He wants to be moving laterally. And that posed a lot of issues for Austin Lingo. So if Saldana can utilize that kind of strategy, which I think is in his wheelhouse, I think he's going to have a lot of success. But if Lingo is able to get it to the inside, a la the Jordan Griffin fight, he struggled a lot with Jordan Griffin. I'm not sure if he won. I think he won that fight, but still, there's moments when he struggled. So if there's prolonged periods of that kind of fight style going on, we could give it to Lingo. And yeah, Lingo's pretty good. He's Fortis MMA trained, another Fortis guy on this card. And he has a lot of round 1 finishes and unanimous decision victories. So he's got experience, he's got knockout power. But for this one, stylistically, I like Saldana. And I think it's going to be 6 straight W's for the young fighter.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm sorry, who did you pick, Dan? I zoomed out for a second there.
Saldana.
Okay, cool.
Not Triple P certified.
So no Triple P certification there. All right. Next, Austin Hubbard taking on Vince Pichel. A lot of similar gyms here, a lot of similar parity as far as guys who have fought before. Really enjoying this card so far. It's going to be interesting. But to me, this one's open and shut, boys. You got one guy training out of Big John McCarthy's Ultimate Training Center. You got one guy training out of Elevation. You got one guy 29, one guy approaching 39. I'm taking the 29-year-old. I'm taking the guy who retired that tough guy match, roast cop on his stool. And I'm taking the one who's been in there with Joe Solecki. which is going to give him a rub. So Thud Hubbard, you got my pick. Who you guys got?
Well, I'll say this: even though Vince Pichel is almost 39 years old, he's won 6 of his last 7. His only loss coming to Gregor Gillespie, who's a top 15 lightweight, in this killer division. So it doesn't seem like he's slowed down. Again, won his last 2. Super durable guy, loves to brawl, but he's again another one of these like grinding types, which we've seen Austin Hubbard struggle with grapplers. I mean, he lost to our boy Joe Slecki. Our boy, all 3 of us. He's also lost to Marco Madsen and Davi Ramos. So clearly, when we have some of these elite grapplers, people who likes to, get to the inside there, he has struggled. Although he does have 60% takedown defense, so it's kind of hard to tell coming out of Elevation Fight Team. I'm gonna go with Vince Pichel. Even though he is the older guy, again, doesn't seem like he's slowing down. I like his style for this matchup. So give me Vince, and I'll look up his odds while you guys break this down.
I'm going to take Austin Hubbard as well. Younger, more. I think he's honestly the more durable guy. He's been through some wars. I remember that one leg infection he got. Craziness. And Max Robskov, he's back to his old ways. Another first-round finish, right? Apparently, he's just the first-round kid. You get him past then, you got him. But Austin Hubbard made that guy quit, which is more impressive to me than putting his lights out or anything of that nature. So I'm going to go with Austin Hubbard in this one.
We've got some tight lines on this card. Vince Pichel -120, Austin Hubbard +100. And that's like a lot of these lines here. Saldana -155 to Lingo's +135, and Ramiz is -125 to Sasha's +105. So, you'll get some good value either way you pick it throughout the card.
Also have a lot of very familiar faces, which brings us to our next fight. Chase the Vanilla Gorilla, Sherman, and Parker Porter. What do you guys think about this one?
I think that Chase Sherman was severely disappointing in his last outing, and to not get Andre Arlovski out of there was a missed opportunity. Yeah, Andre's clearly not as over the hill as we want to make him out to be, being over 40. Heavyweight division is one of those divisions you can still be over 40 and fight in. But I was very disappointed in Chase Sherman. He kept me out of the money on quite a few parlays that night, and I was sick over it. So not high on betting Chase Sherman. Could be a fight I leave off the card entirely. Heavyweights are gonna heavyweight, and this one seems unpredictable. I think that I might continue to stay on the wrong side of the Vanilla Gorilla. He should really be called like the Mississippi Wild Man or something that speaks to his redneck nature, because being from Mississippi, it's no secret Mississippi has the worst school systems in the country. Some of them, at least. Maybe Hawaii is the only one giving them a run for their money, but Mississippi has some horrible school systems. Chase
They're
Sherman,
not going to let you back on the island, buddy. You keep talking about Hawaii and betting against all the Hawaiians.
The Hawaiians know it. They don't want to go to school, man. They hate school too. They're like, yeah, our school systems suck. We should do away with them entirely. And I'm like, I know. So, listen, anything from Hawaii, you learn from the land. You learn from the ocean. You learn from Mauna Kea. You don't learn from books, okay? You don't need to know anything about any books in Hawaii. But anyway, I digress. Mississippi, very low IQ state. Not a lot of smart individuals there. Chase Sherman, very low ring IQ. But Parker Porter is also, 36 years old. His best win is against Josh Parisian, who also sucks. And Josh Parisian beat him up for a while in that fight before he got himself beat up. So this is a low-level fight if I've ever seen him, and I want nothing to do with it. I'm just gonna throw salt in Chase Sherman's eyes right now, throw salt in his wounds from that Andre Arlovski loss, and I'm gonna say Parker Porter.
So if we're talking about Chase Sherman in Mississippi, I traveled out to Ireland a couple of years back, and one of the hosts that we're staying at, she went to school in Mississippi to play college soccer. And I asked her, what Mississippi was like, and she goes, "Backwoods people over there, eh?" I was like, yeah. So I've never been to Mississippi, but I could have probably guessed that.
Mississippi's a river. It's a river city more than it is a backwoods. It's more like you're rolling down the river.
Not backwoods, backwards, like a backwards
people.
Yeah,
Got it. Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean, Mississippi was one of the only states to still have the Confederate flag as part of their flags for a very long time. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but
I think
go
it's
ahead.
still the case.
Go ahead, Crusade. Get that flag down. Go ahead, everybody. Go ahead, comrades. But yeah, so Chase Sherman's probably actually going to win this year. I'm going to reverse my pick. PP, Parker Porter, not getting my pick. It's going to be Chase Sherman. I do want to punish him for losing to Andre Arlovski, but I think the UFC is actually giving him the carrot, not the stick, for that loss, and they're serving him up with the carrot that is Parker Porter, a guy 5 years older than him. If he can't beat Parker Porter, you cut them both, I think. But this is probably going to be Parker Porter's exit song. What do you guys think? I mean, he wouldn't be. It wouldn't be back-to-back losses, but I just don't know what we're doing here. We got a lot of these guys hanging over from the pandemic era where they got opportunities on short notice, or they got opportunities because they didn't have a lot of people to call, and it seems like they're trying to flush them out. And Chase Sherman seems like a guy they already wanted in and were high on. I mean, to give him that Andre Arlovski fight, Parker Porter, they give him a Josh Parisian fight. So yeah, Chase Sherman's probably going to win, but I don't want this one on my parlays.
Me?
Say something.
You take it.
All right. I'm going with Chase Sherman here. I was just driving through Connecticut for a very, very long time. Very, very long time on Sunday. So I hate Connecticut. Everything about it now. I know it's in New England. I don't like New England. I like Boston specifically. Fuck Connecticut. The traffic's terrible.
Is Parker Porter from Connecticut?
He's fighting out of Connecticut. That's for sure.
Okay, I was trying to make the connection there. I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Mississippi dummies are one thing, but Connecticut traffic takes the cake.
So what's the pick?
I don't even know how that related to this at all.
Who are you picking?
It's a Mississippi dummy versus a Connecticut person. You know what I mean? I hate Connecticut traffic. I'm going with Chase Sherman. I actually started it off saying I'm going with Chase Sherman because I had to drive through Connecticut for like 8 hours yesterday or Sunday.
Got it. Okay.
I think it takes less than 8 hours to drive through Connecticut. But that being said, I don't know, man. We get a little trigger happy with Chase Sherman just because he beat up Ike Villanueva. Within the same breath, Parker Porter loses to Chris Daukaus, who's now like a top heavyweight. We're like, he sucks. Meanwhile, in his last fight, he landed 125 strikes and got 2 takedowns in a win. So I think the value here is definitely on Parker Porter. I think you're going to get some good value for him. Again, it's a sloppy heavyweight fight, pretty low level. Parker Porter plus 155. Sorry about that little hiccup there. But I'm going to go with it. I'm going to take Parker Porter. I think he's got more ways to win. I think he could take it to the mat, gas out Chase Sherman, the former veteran of bare knuckle here. Values on Parker Porter. Sloppy heavyweight fight should be on your parlays, but go from there.
Okay. Interesting. All right, yeah. So I'm glad it's not Troll P certified. William Knight versus Fabio Charrante. Now, Fabio Charrante, didn't he just get choked out by Alonzo Menifield?
Yes,
by
non-flu.
Yeah, so now stepping in there with William Knight. I've been very impressed with William Knight. I like that win against Alexa Kimura. I liked it specifically because everybody said it was kind of knockout or bust for him. He ended up winning a decision, getting a takedown in the 3rd round. Da Un Jung, I took Da Un Jung in that one, even though he's a boxer, as he'll tell us. But I knew that he was going to have a bit of a grappling advantage in that fight. He boxed William Knight up in that fight, though. Didn't really need any grappling much at all in that fight. He boxed him up and got the win. I like Da Un Jung. I like the Iron Turtle. So no shame in that loss to me. I think he comes back stronger. I think we see William Knight get the win against Water Buffalo Fabio Charrante. What do you guys think about this one? No impressive wins for Charrante yet, but William Knight I just think is surging a little bit more and has just a touch more experience and a touch more UFC time. You know what I mean? So give me William Knight for my early pick, the Nightmare.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're not going to get incredible value on this one. You got minus 235 as the favorite for William Knight. I'm going to agree with you on that one, though. Even though he doesn't have the most lengthy record, he actually has 11 amateur fights as well under his belt. He's also been training with Parker Porter, so I think there's going to be that thing where, 2 guys fighting on the same card, training together, will elevate their performance. I love Knight's gas tank for a light heavyweight. This guy is always coming forward. Seems like he's got a lot of life in that 3rd round. Fabio Charrante, in both of his 2 steps up in competition, whether it's Alonzo Menifield or Alexa Kimura, who a little bit of MMA math here, William Knight actually beat. Fabio Charrante has lost to. So I don't know. Charrante has some submission skills. I believe all of his finishes are via submission. And him, when he gets finished, is by submission as well. So he might be looking to take it to the mat. But Knight, I think, is just the more athletic guy here. Will be able to keep it standing, using his experience to get the win at minus 235. What do you think, Alex?
I think William Knight has more ways to win for sure, and he has far better wins and more experience, although he only has 11 pro fights.
All right, Alex is freezing here a little bit. Looks like he was going to go with William Knight, though. Alex, you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you. Am I back?
All right, you're back now. Yeah, you're good.
All right. Although he doesn't really have all that many fights, he's a much more experienced fighter because he has 8 amateur bouts added on to his 11 pro bouts, and he mixed in a Muay Thai fight and a grappling bout on top of that. In his amateur career, 2 interesting characters that he has wins over is Jorgen De Castro and Matt Semmelsberger, the semi-Jedi. So I'm very high on William Knight. I think he gets this one done.
All right. Interesting. We're going to move on to our next fight of the evening, which is going to be Brian Boom Kelleher. I don't know if Luke was able to reach out to Kelleher, but he had a little bit of beef. I would love a drop clip of Luke bashing Brian Kelleher for playing the ukulele. And by the way, that's a little bit of a turncoat declaration on Luke's part coming from the Hawaiian Islands. So it all kind of matches together. I would love to see a drop clip reel of these things. Anyway, he's going to be fighting Domingo Polarte, who's coming in with a 10-inch reach advantage, unheard of in the MMA community. With that being said, I think people like Luke bash Brian Kelleher a little too much. In his last 5 losses, these names are Ricky Simone, Montel Jackson, Cody Stamen, John Lineker, and Marlon Vera. So if you pick up a win against Brian Kelleher, you know, maybe not elite, but you're pretty damn good. You have a solidified spot in the UFC. Domingo Polarte has not really gotten those big wins yet. At least in the UFC, he does have a win over Adrian Yanez. So this guy, he's a submission type of fighter. You know, he's looking to take the back. He's looking to sink his hooks in and get the win from there. But for me, Brian Kelleher is going to be the shorter guy, stockier, more powerful, and he has a wrestling background himself. So I think he's going to be able to keep Polarte at bay. And of course, we know that the guillotine's always in play. Although I don't know if Polarte is going to get caught in something like that with his BJJ skills. And again, the big power left hand, again, always there for Brian Kelleher. So I'm going to take the 10 years of pro experience, Brian Boom Kelleher, in this matchup. And we'll go from there. Alex, what do you got?
Yeah, I have Brian Boom Kelleher as well. These guys are pretty close in age. The only guys Brian Kelleher has lost to are Ricky Simon, Cody Stamen, Montel Jackson, John Lineker, Marlon Vieira, and Jimmy Rivera. There are some other guys in there, but those are some big names. It takes the best of the best to beat him. He's taken out a lot of good guys and experienced guys, and a lot of guys the UFC were high on with good records like Hunter Azuro, De Osborne. So I'm going with Brian Kelleher here. I just think he has more ways to get it done, and Domingo is coming off of a really quick knockout against Journey Newsom that was overturned because Journey tested positive for marijuana.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the guy going up in weight, the guy who is going to be shaking off some of those bad memories from the previous 135-pound class. He's going up now. Wait, is this fight going to be at bantamweight?
Yes.
Okay, this fight's at 135. But Kelleher has been used to fighting at 145 recently because of their short notice kind of pandemic opportunities, I guess. Either way, give me the guy with the 6 inches of height, the 10 inches of reach. And I also been looking to fade Brian Kelleher for a while. So Kelleher is coming in here 89% victory on Tapology. People are giving, so I'm assuming he's going to be a sizable favorite.
Minus 170 as of right now.
Yeah. Give me the dog. Dog or pass for me. I'll take Son of Fire. And I think he should change his name from Domingo Polarte to just Son of Fire and just come out as Son of Fire, you know? Have Bruce Buffer say, Son of Fire. That'd be really cool. So, yeah, give me the Son of Fire.
Awesome. Alrighty. Next up, we got a fan favorite in Brandon Royval versus the Cannibal, Alexandre Pantoja. Who do you guys have in this one?
I'm going to take Pantoja. I like the guy who's coming out of ATT, has a ton of experience. Five of 5-2 in his last 7. Only losses are to Askarov and Davidson Figueiredo, both by decision. Took it all the way to the end there, and he's got a win over the current champ in Brandon Moreno. Brandon Royval, he's a big-time fan favorite, like you said, Alex, but he's still relatively unknown. Only 3 UFC fights. All of his wins, except for 1, are by finish, and Pantoja has never been finished. So I think that's a bad matchup for him going into this one. I'm going to take Alejandro Pantoja, the more well-rounded fighter in this one. I'll get the odds for you while you break this one down.
Yeah, the Cannibal just is going to probably be, by my estimation, the Cannibal is going to just be kind of the more hardy man in there, man. I think Brandon Royval's fun. He's coming into his own. He's 28 in his own right, but I just think he's just a little too much of a kid still. You know what I mean? Also, look at common opponents. I go with Pantoja on this one. I just think, yeah, I mean, that even the Kai Kara France, right? The Kai Kara France fight was definitely Brandon Royval's best win, and I had him in that fight as an underdog. But it was a firefight. He got clipped. Kai got clipped. It could have gone either way. So give me Pantoja. Give me the Cannibal. Been looking to bet him for a while. Was weary taking him against Cape, but he got it done. Yes, he lost to Askarov. No shame. He's fighting for a title soon. He's got a draw against Brandon Moreno as well. This guy beat Brandon Moreno, the champ, like you said. Beat Matt Schnell. Only other loss to Davidson Figueiredo. And again, a decision. So you're telling me you got 2 decision losses recently. One's Askarov and one's Davidson Figueiredo. Not too worried about that. Let's go with the Cannibal.
You could get him for -165. To me, that's a parlay pillar. Again, with the matchup of Royval only has wins when he finishes a guy, and Pantoja never being finished. Alex, what do you got?
Yeah, and another couple of Pantoja's losses, Dustin Ortiz and Jussier Formiga. So almost all the guys that he's lost to have been studs and guys who were close to or fought for a title. I'm going with Pantoja here. As Luke said, I think he's just going to be the hardier guy. And 31, he's still in his athletic prime and coming out of a better team as far as I'm concerned. I'm going with Alexandre the Cannibal Pantoja.
And it's going to be Triple P certified. And that surprises me because I really did think I was going to go with Royval. But, I have been high on Pantoja for a while. And he might be the one guy in the division I got to take over Royval at this point. You know what I mean? Because I do like Royval. But we'll see. All right, only one more fight to break down. We really flew by this one. And this is the early predictions for UFC Fight Night Cannonier versus Gastelum. Originally, it was going to be Cannonier taking on Paulo Costa. I think he fell out of the frying pan, but not into the fire. I think he fell out of the frying pan into the sink because this is going to be a much easier matchup than Paulo Costa, I think, for Jared Cannonier. Coming off the fight with Robert Whittaker, I definitely had Cannonier. I thought he was going to steamroll Robert Whittaker. I thought everybody saw something. I've had Robert Whittaker written off as dead since the Israel Adesanya loss. He's proved me wrong every single time. So, that time he took off must have been good for him. It really does show that those Romero fights leading into the Adesanya fight was just too much, too quick, too much damage, too much trauma. But he got that little break. He rested. He recovered. He's back. He looks better than ever now. So, can't get mad at myself for that. He beat Anderson Silva. He beat Jack Hermanson. I mean, I like Jared Cannonier to go in and get this win, I think, against Kelvin Gastelum. I'm not high on Kelvin Gastelum lately. I think he's lazy in the offseason. I think he takes a lot of taco breaks around LA, a lot of beer breaks. He's hanging out with Henry Cejudo. He's hanging out with guys richer and more successful than him because of his manager, Ali Abdelaziz. And that can be good for motivation, but it's not good when you're, an Ultimate Fighter vet, been there, done that, main evented, fought for the title. Man can't reach his prime, his peak 2 times in one lifetime. He's already been there against he was prepared to be there against Robert Whittaker. Ended up not getting to fight that night. Big time waste. Big time Super Bowl hangover. Loses to Adesanya. Huge Super Bowl hangover. Gets 2 back-to-back losses in a row. Only is able to get a win over Ian Heinisch. We just saw Imavov tool up. And he didn't even look that good in the first round of the Ian Heinisch fight. So give me Kelvin Gastelum. I think he's at that Weidman level of his career. And he lost to Chris Weidman in 2017. So
give you Jared Cannonier?
Yeah, give me Jared Cannonier. Fade Kelvin Gastelum. I don't think Kelvin Gastelum's got anything left in the tank to get him anywhere close to title contention where I think Jared Cannonier does.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Jared Cannonier is an older fella, but he's new to the game in many ways. Grappling seems like it might be his hole, but he proves me wrong every single time. I think I'm going to go with Jared Cannonier here. I think Kelvin Gastelum has just taken too much damage in too many slugfests, and as Luke said, is not disciplined enough. He should be fighting at welterweight. He could have been the welterweight champion at one point or another, but is not disciplined enough to do so.
And before Dan speaks, let me just say one thing to hopefully influence your opinion more than others. So his Ultimate Fighter run, you know what I mean? Yeah, he has his Ultimate Fighter run. Caps off with a split decision win against Uriah Hall, right? We just saw shit the bet against Sean Strickland. So just mark him there at 2013. But then look at his wins, right? Brian Melatonin, Ricky Story, Nico Muskie, Jake Ellenberger. I think that was maybe, one of Jake Ellenberger's last fights. Lost to Tyron Woodley in a split decision. That's a welterweight, guys. Beats Nate
Jake Ellenberger fought over the pandemic. Go on.
Jake Ellenberger fought over the pandemic. That was a grappling match, moron. He hasn't fucking fought since he got knocked out in 3 fights in a row. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to call you moron. All right, but I just knew that was bullshit because I know Jake Ellenberger has not been fighting. But anyway, so anyway, lost to Neil Magny, split decision, again, a welterweight, right? And then, it's all like, it's the weight cut. But I would argue that he needs to have a Jose Aldo-like resurgence to have his career revitalized because the 185-pounders, it doesn't provide Kelvin Gastelum the structure that he needs to show up correct, I think. He looks a beat behind in that Robert Whittaker fight. He looks a half second behind. Robert Whittaker was dominating him in the wrestling aspect of that fight, guys. Robert Whittaker is from Australia. He's not a wrestler. Kelvin Gastelum's like an All-American wrestler, I think, if I'm correct. So, yeah, Kelvin Gastelum he's disappointing me, man. And I wasn't impressed with the Ian Heinisch victory. And, even his last win before that, split decision, Ronaldo Souza. And then he knocked out old left eye Michael Bisping. So it's like, he's not been Kelvin Gastelum has not been impressive, guys. He has not been impressive in a very long time. The last time Kelvin Gastelum was impressive, what?
Split decision against Tyron Woodley.
No, I know. Tim Kennedy in 2016 when Trump was taking office. I mean, that was the last time that I think Kelvin Gastelum was wowing anybody. I mean, it was a good fight against Adesanya, but
knocked out Vitor Belfort.
No contest. Never happened.
Was that a weed suspension? Is that why it's no contest? Okay. Listen, I'm going to spoil the party here. I'm not going to triple P certify this. I'm going to take Kelvin Gastelum, and I'll tell you why. Jared Cannonier, we're talking about being heavily disappointed. I remember watching it with you guys, Jared Cannonier lose to Robert Whittaker and feeling so deflated after that one. The crystals were not working on that night, my friends. Jared Cannonier, when I look stylistically at this fight, he's got a lot of knockout power, and that's the only way that he wins fights is by knocking people out. But he's not sitting traps. He's not doing any feinting. He's not really catching any good angles here. He seems like a very basic striker. Kelvin Gastelum, although, yes, he's been finished all by submission, never been finished by strikes. If you look at the strike metrics, they're just about the same. They take the same amount of damage, and they give the same amount of damage as far as strikes landed per minute. So, yeah, and also we're taking into the fact that this is a 5-round fight. Kelvin Gastelum has 5-round experience, taking it all the way to the end. Jared Cannonier seems like a guy who's probably going to gas out towards the end. He's gassed out in 3-round fights, so I don't know how well this is going to bode for him in a 5-rounder. So with all that being said, I'm going to take the more technical striker. Again, he's probably not going to be a champion, but as far as this matchup goes, I'm liking Kelvin Gastelum, and he's going to be plus 135.
You know what? You are right. Kelvin Gastelum isn't getting knocked out. He's got that warrior Mexican spirit. He's not getting knocked out, and that's the only way Jared Cannonier gets him out of there. I didn't think he wins a decision. 5-rounder especially. Yeah, I'm switching to Kelvin Gastelum.
Woo! You know what? Dan, you half convinced me, and then I realized, wait, Jared Cannonier's 37?
He's 37 years old.
Yeah.
Oh man, am I getting switched?
Dude, do I get a double switch on this one? That would be awesome. That'd be so
That's
great.
An 8-year difference.
Well, this is the early prediction episode. I do have time to do some more research, but I'll switch formally. You know what? Ew, I don't even like the way this sounds. Trophy certifying Kelvin Gastelum. I don't even like the way this sounds. I'm gonna have to
Never been finished by strikes.
I will stick with Jared Cannonier. I will not trophy certify Kelvin Gastelum. I'll stick with Jared Cannonier, and I will let you guys know. Maybe when you check back in a week from now, we will have difference of opinion. But I'm gonna do some more research. I'm gonna take a look at the tape. But yeah, your points were very salient.
Thank you. We'll break out the crystals next episode, see if that sways you.
And you know, that comes into it too, because if he's a crystal guy, you know that he's also like doing weird shit too that isn't involved with MMA training. Like just like Kelvin's eating the tacos on the taco trucks and going to the beach with Henry Cejudo, Jared Cannonier is like fucking looking up flat earth information and shit. So it's like they're both wasting time in their own ways, you know?
Luke, do you have an Instagram account that you want to plug here?
No, I don't. I do. Triple P certified, at PPP certified. And also Dan, the Betman, is going to be found on Twitter at perfect_parlay. And guys, Alex, he's Euro under King on Instagram. Check the Instagram page. We got 800 followers now. Check the Discord. The link is in the description box below. We got 100 people strong in that Discord now, and a couple ladies too. Make sure you watch the most recent.
They're not strong, Luke. You said people.
100 strong, and there's a couple ladies in there too.
Of those strong people,
yeah. Not a lot of Discords. Not a lot of Discords in this space have ladies in their chat, but we do, and we didn't even pay them like we did Athena May. So listen. I only paid Athena the one time, all right? First, second, and third hits were free, all right? So anyway, look, we're going to move off this podcast for now. We have 2 great interviews with Joe Solecki and Farah Hanoun. Those are evergreen. Those are not event-specific. So if you want to watch those and just get a glimpse into Farah Hanoun's life and how she rose from being somebody who managed an Instagram page for mixed martial arts fans that nobody knew who she was, to then stepping into the spotlight 3 years later and working for MMA Junkie, working for UFC Arabia, interviewing Khabib, interviewing Conor McGregor. We talked about all those things and more with her. So expect to see the Triple P boys up in Fight Island like the Nelk boys, because we're making connections, baby, in Arabia. What do you guys, have to say to our audience, our fans? Send them a final message on the way out, and we'll be back next week to break down this fight card yet again. And hopefully we'll have another great guest for you next Friday for the weigh-ins.
Love you. That's all.
Love you all. Catch all of our latest episodes, Joe Solecki, Farah Hanoun, and all the breakdowns that are soon to come. We love you all, and we will see you next episode.
Adios, amigos.